In Star Wars, we know that some Jedi have the ability to become Force ghosts after death. In Star Wars canon, there are 4 Jedi that we know can become Force ghosts: Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Chosen One himself, Anakin Skywalker. There's been a lot of talk about what, if any, Force ghosts will appear in The Last Jedi. Now, this video is purely speculative. I have no inside information, and this is purely what I think could happen. But my question I ask is, what Force ghosts will appear in Episode 8? Now, I'm going to go through and talk about each of the 4 Jedi we know can appear as Force ghosts, and if I think they are going to appear in The Last Jedi. So the first and most powerful Jedi of them all is Master Yoda. We've seen Yoda appear as a Force ghost before in Return of the Jedi, alongside Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker at the very end. There have been some rumors saying that Frank Oz has been seen on the set of Episode 8, but nothing has been confirmed. Now, why would Yoda be a Force ghost in The Last Jedi? Well, Yoda himself has been the leader of the Jedi since during the collapse of the Order. He's seen a Skywalker tear down and destroy the Order that he's built. This could be similar to Luke's circumstances if Ben Solo/Skywalker was responsible for destroying Luke's Jedi Order. We've also seen Yoda talk to Ezra Bridger through the Force in Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. It makes sense for Luke to question everything Yoda has taught. In the Last Jedi teaser, he says, "I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end." It's possible that Luke has discovered something about the Jedi Order, and Yoda severely disagrees with what Luke is thinking, and thus is communicating to him through the Force. And I think that there is about a 60% chance that we will see Yoda in The Last Jedi. I'd really love to see him. I think that he is the most likely of the 4 people who I'm going to talk about in this video will actually appear in the movie, just because it's easy to make Yoda look like he was in Return of the Jedi. You use the same puppets, you don't do what they did with the prequels and do the CGI. Frank Oz can come back and do the voice. He still has the voice. We've seen him do it in numerous mediums, whether it be Star Wars Rebels or whatever. And I just do think Yoda would be a very good addition to The Last Jedi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. If Alec Guinness was alive, I would say there is a 99.9% chance we would see old Ben Kenobi in The Last Jedi. However, the only actor who has played Obi-Wan that is still alive is Ewan McGregor. Through a strictly character standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to see Obi-Wan in The Last Jedi. Both he and Luke had a Skywalker Padawan who went to the dark side. Obi-Wan really knows how Luke feels. However, will Luke even want Obi-Wan's help? Will Luke even want to be reminded of his constant failure in the fact that Ben Solo betrayed him, possibly murdered his whole Jedi Order, and is responsible for the death of his dear friend, Han Solo? Obi-Wan and Yoda fall into the same boat when it comes to old Jedi who were part of the reason the Jedi were not successful. While old Ben was instrumental in helping Luke defeat the Empire, would he make sense in Episode 8? I'm not sure. There's a theory that's been going around over the last year or so that Rey is a Kenobi. If this is the case, we will surely see Obi-Wan in some way, shape, or form in The Last Jedi. We do know that Ewan McGregor recorded lines as Obi-Wan Kenobi for The Force Awakens, and he was in Rey's Force Vision. Obi-Wan can be heard saying, "These are your first steps," to Rey at the very end of Rey's Force Vision. Whether or not Rey is a Kenobi is a whole separate question, but if somehow she is related to Obi-Wan Kenobi, there is a very good chance we will see the Jedi in The Last Jedi. If they were related, it would make sense for him to appear as a Force ghost, but then again, only if he has some tie to Rey. Overall, I would say there's about a 25% chance we see Obi-Wan in The Last Jedi. We did see Obi-Wan appear as a Force ghost at the end of Episode 6. It just depends if Force ghosts are able to change ages or something, because the last time we saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was, age 50 to 65, somewhere in between that period. I know people on Tatooine tend to age faster, so I'm not exactly how old he was. But if they did make Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Force ghost, that would just raise the question, like, why does he look different? Would they explain that? Is that even a question people would ask? I don't really know. That's just something that has been going through my mind. And if Lucasfilm was able to explain why a different actor is playing Obi-Wan, and like if it doesn't really matter, then I'd say there is above a 25% chance. Because like I said at the start of this, if Alec Guinness was still playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'd say there's about a 75% chance that he would be in here. But because I would assume he would be played by Ewan McGregor, there is about a 25% chance. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll do some CGI thing that they did with Tarkin and Leia. That would be weird. But anyways, let's move on. Qui-Gon Jinn. Now this is the most interesting prospect to me. This one really fascinates me. We know that the Jedi Council did not agree with Qui-Gon Jinn, and that he was seen as sort of a radical in the Jedi Order. However, this is exactly what Luke wants. He wants a Jedi who didn't follow the strict code that the Jedi served on the Jedi Council. Qui-Gon believed in the use of the dark side as a necessary tool for the Jedi to use. Qui-Gon was the first Jedi that we know of to master the ability to be a Force ghost. He appeared to Yoda in the Clone Wars animated show, and appeared to Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Force ghost in the novel Ahsoka. If I were Rian Johnson in Disney, Qui-Gon Jinn would 100% be in The Last Jedi. It serves the narrative. Luke wants to learn from Jedi who were not responsible for the fall of the Republic, and Qui-Gon Jinn would be perfect for this, and the only option in my opinion. Qui-Gon Jinn has always been a character that really fascinates me. Some people actually thought that Luke's kyber crystal that he used for his green lightsaber could very well be the same one used by Qui-Gon Jinn in his own lightsaber, because Obi-Wan did keep that lightsaber and maybe he gave it to Luke. We don't know. That's not canon, but that's just something interesting. Let's just go along the theory that that's true, and maybe Luke and Qui-Gon Jinn have some tie to each other. It would be extremely, extremely, extremely interesting to see Qui-Gon Jinn appear in The Last Jedi, because I think he really, really understood the Force more than any other Jedi, even Master Yoda, did at the time. Qui-Gon was able to become a Force ghost faster than any of the other Jedi did. He, for all intents and purposes, taught Obi-Wan how to be a Force ghost, taught Yoda how to be a Force ghost. We don't know how Anakin became a Force ghost, but one can assume that Qui-Gon Jinn sort of taught him. And I just think it would really catch a lot of people off guard, because Qui-Gon Jinn is not a character that we have seen really anywhere except for The Phantom Menace. And because of that, he has a negative connotation to him, because a lot of people don't like The Phantom Menace. However, if you put Qui-Gon Jinn in The Last Jedi, it would really tie into the prequels, and it would make The Phantom Menace even more interesting, because it does tie into The Last Jedi. Although I do think there is only about a 3% chance he will appear in The Last Jedi. I would be extremely happy if we saw him, because it would just do a lot, and I think it really, really makes sense for the story, because Luke is not the goody two-shoe Jedi that he used to be. He's different. What people are saying is he's a great Jedi. That's not confirmed. That's not even a canon term, but a great Jedi is someone who uses the dark side and the light and doesn't really label themselves. And I think that's what a lot of people think Luke is going to do, and that's kind of the path that Qui-Gon was on before he died. Anakin Skywalker. Now, this is the Force Ghost cameo that I want the most. We saw concept art of Anakin in the concept art book for The Force Awakens, and I think there are two people in particular that Anakin could appear to as a Force Ghost. Luke. How cool would it be to see Anakin talk to Luke? We've really never seen this happen. We've only seen Darth Vader talk to Luke. It makes sense in the standpoint that Luke is talking all about the balance and how there is just so much more. Who better to talk to Luke or Rey about the balance of the Force than the literal balance himself, Anakin Skywalker. He is the chosen one. He destroyed the Jedi, and he destroyed the Sith. He knows the Force better than anyone has, and if Anakin has been communicating to his son, this could be a huge deal. It could be the single reason why Luke isn't the way he was at the end of Return of the Jedi. I would love to see this happen, and in my opinion, it makes complete sense to the story. Ben/Kylo Ren. We know that the Sith relics can sometimes be embodied by the dark side user that controlled it. We also know that Kylo Ren has the burnt mask of Darth Vader and could be feeding his dark side rage through it. However, the last time we saw Anakin Skywalker, he appeared as a Force Ghost. This is important because only Jedi can appear as Force Ghosts, not Sith. Sith do not have that ability, which means Anakin Skywalker had to be on the light side of the Force at the time he died, thus making him more of a Jedi than a Sith. Now, why would a light side Anakin Skywalker be communicating to a dark side Ben Solo? To bring him back to the light. Yet, I do not think Ben would listen, as Snoke has completely brainwashed his mind. The more likely scenario is for Anakin to speak to Luke. I would say there is even a possibility that he speaks to Rey, and I would be very, very interested in that happening. There have also been some talk about how Rey is a reincarnated version of Anakin. Do not believe that, but there's also some talk about Rey as the chosen one, and I don't want to get into that. I believe Anakin is a chosen one, but I just think it'd be really cool to see Anakin talk to Luke, Ben, or Rey, or all the three. I'd be down for that. And I think the chance that we do see Anakin in The Last Jedi is 35%. This is the Force Ghost cameo I want to see the most, and I think it makes the most sense to the story. I think Qui-Gon Jinn would be the most kind of unsuspecting Force Ghost cameo, because we really haven't seen much of Qui-Gon Jinn. As where the actor who played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy is not alive, the actor who played Anakin Skywalker in the prequels and the Force Ghost cameo in the original trilogy is alive, Hayden Christensen. And this is why I think there is a better percent chance that we will see Anakin Skywalker than we will see Obi-Wan Kenobi. So what did you guys think of this video? If you guys like this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Also, please leave a comment down below for suggestions as to what type of content you would like to see from this channel and videos you want me to make. Also, a huge shout out to my friend Keenan, who made the intro to this video, and he's a great guy. Please subscribe to his channel and tell him that Trey sent you. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you always.